said to me, listen, in 5 years, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to all these changes. And he's basically right. I think most of the people are getting used to it. The air changes, you got fire in the sky, you got all this traffic, you got smells, the air changes, the water changes, the creeks change. You get used to it.
Your life expectancy is going to change.
Yeah.
But the fish die, whatever happens. But the thing is, how many of us want to get used to it? There's a number of us who are now putting our houses on the market. My children have had it. I have 3 adult children, 2 grandchildren. They want to move. We have friends right now that are looking in North Carolina. We have friends that have moved to New York, and they're hoping New York will hold the border tight, that it won't happen over there. So you are having gas refugees. Those of us who can move will be moving and are considering that.
Double check North Carolina because they might frack over there.
I heard North Carolina, but we're looking in the western, southwestern corner near the Blue Ridge Mountains, and supposedly that's off the shale. So we're hoping to be able to get away from it and not see it anymore at some point. But at this point, I'm still a witness. Well, I don't know. Somebody will buy, because there's also people who don't believe it and they think it's okay. But the homes are sitting for a long time, unless you have acreage. If you have a good amount of acreage, we have investors who are buying who are hoping for royalties and that they can make a killing with the royalties, with the gas wells near. So we have people coming in. They don't even look at the house. They say, you have 30 acres. We're giving $8,000 to $10,000 an acre. A little bit extra for your buildings, we want it. And so then they buy it and that's it. But even that's slowing down because the price of gas has crashed.
Yeah.
Our activity has slowed down.
Are they seeing here?
Well, I was just visiting farmers. They called me about their water changes 2 weeks ago in the southern part of the county, Springville, which is next to Dimmock, and I went to visit them and they were complaining. They said, we're only seeing $30 an acre. I said, well, that's pretty low. And they said, yeah. And they're taking production costs out. 26% they figured production costs. So they ended up with $30 an acre, and it's like dairy farms, with a couple hundred acres. I said, well, what can I tell you? There's some post-production costs. Yeah, they're doing production costs of some kind. They have all kinds of names for it.
Yeah.
Pre-production, post-production. Right, now they can do that, because the industry is hurting. The industry can't make enough money unless it's at least $5 per 1,000 cubic feet. Each well costs between 5 to 8 million. So they need to recover their costs at $5, but it has to be above that to make a profit. Right now you're at $2 and something. So they are hurting. So most of them, I just spoke to an industry person last week, and he said most of their wells, their rigs are going to western Pennsylvania, where they have wetter gas. We are drier here. So they're so desperate that they're looking for every nickel they can get. So they're going for wetter gas, and this way they can have methane, besides methane, propane, and ethane. And they take that out and they sell that. So that shows you how desperate they are. And you've heard the stories about Chesapeake with all their problems. They have to sell off all kinds of assets to be able to get rid of some of their tremendous debt. So the industry is having trouble. So, what kind of a money maker is it? If they can't make enough money, how much money are we, the citizens, going to make? Because that's the main reason most people have signed and allowed them in, the prospect of all kinds of money, and possibly being a millionaire or being the next Beverly Hillbillies. They're hoping for that. We're going to be the next ones, and we can revel in our wealth, our newfound wealth. But it's not really happening except for a very few. We have people with 700 acres, 1,500 acres in our county, and one of them we'll pass by in the Dimmock area. He's got 13 wells producing on his property. He's got a compressor station plus pipelines. So he's one of the top money makers in the county, but that's only like less than 10% of our county that are in that kind of a classification.
What does he do on his 700 acres? Is he a dairy farmer with cows?
He was a dairy farmer, yeah, I don't know if he still is.
Is that a shirt off?
That I'm not sure about, yeah, I have to ask. I haven't heard that particular.
Always told him about that.
I
We can ask him if we pass by, I mean, you know, if he's out there, we'll ask him, you know.
I have a hard time visualizing cows grazing.
I've seen horses at his farm, so, yeah, he might still have, I'm not even sure. It's not clicking in my head.
With all this gas that you're drilling, is that, do you get gas free?
No, we get no
Cheaper?
gas anywhere. We don't get any of the gas in the county. It goes, everything goes out of the county, everything goes out of the state. They claim they're gonna eventually give it to us, but you know how that works. When will that happen? But is it still worth it that I have to sacrifice our environment so that I can have gas when I could have something else?
It's just stuff going overseas? Is it-
Well,
is it
they're
here at
talking
all?
about it. That's why the Koreans are here. They already know that's going overseas. That's the rumors in Asia. So they already visited, they told me, Louisiana, where there's a plant, a liquefaction plant, which they're enlarging. So they want to have liquefaction plants, but they won't be ready, like I discussed with them this morning, till 2015. They're hoping to stay alive, to make as much money as they can, because right now they're not making money.
They can hold the gas, can't they?
They're holding the gas, but that's why they want all these pipelines, like through New York, they want all kinds of pipelines. You got yours slated for at least 12 more pipelines. Have fun with that one. You got a 30-inch one, Constitution, coming through 100 miles of your state. So that they can pump all this out and make $12 to $15 per thousand cubic feet, as opposed to what they're making now. So they're looking for investors, which is another word for me, suckers. They're looking for suckers to invest in their companies so that they can make the next killing. Whatever, that small percentage of people, CEOs and stakeholders, who can make the most money before the whole thing bottoms out. So that's the latest scheme. Let's liquefy it, send it to Asia, send it to China, send it to India. So that's why Korea's here. They're looking to just show people what's happening, what we're going through, and that liquefaction is coming. But we'll see if they can last till 2015.
Well, I just wanted to say that I think what they're doing, I mean, the gas price is a negative right now, but I think their strategy is to get the infrastructure in, and then that'll be a bonus for them. It will be a positive to have cheap gas, because then they'll sell it for more. So people who think that they're out of the water because there's going to be cheap gas and they're just waiting to get the infrastructure ready. I think that's their strategy. And then come back, and then they'll really make a killing when they're getting that cheap gas and selling it more overseas. So that's why you see the infrastructure of the pipelines, and they don't want to back down, because that's their strategy. They're pushing, people, it is a positive now because it's low, okay? But they're going to the areas that have the least resistance, okay? But it's going to be a bonus for them to have that cheap gas and to sell it for so much money further down. So I think that's the strategy, and I think that's what the towns have to be aware of. People who are following this, who are trying to protect themselves, I think that's what they have to be aware of.
That, I think, is one of the points. When they resell this gas at the $15 to $20 amount as they ship it out to foreign countries, the landowner here doesn't get any benefit of that high price, because the company pays you the low price. Now they're trying to store it up by Ithaca in some of these deep wells, and you don't get the advantage of that increase of price when they resell it. So that's,
I'm sure we
I think,
won't,
what's
because
happening.
we've been shafted again and again, so I'm not expecting any perks. They use the people here like any other corporation. They will use them, they will give them some alluring ideas,